This video is designed to help you start a lounge bar business. At the end of the video, you'll find a valuable gift. It's a lounge bar business plan that you can download, and we'll lay down for you, step by step, everything you need to know to start a successful lounge bar business of your own. If you are new to this channel, make sure to hit the subscribe button for more videos like this. There are a lot of different bars and lounges out there. Each one has a different startup cost and a different kind of clientele. Before starting a lounge, consider what kind of business you want to run. Who is your specific customer? Some options you might want to run through are a brew pub or beer lounge. Beer does, after all, count for 42% of sales in the bar, tavern and nightclub industry. A sports bar is an American classic, but so is a cocktail or specialty bar that focuses on one specific kind of drink. Distilled spirits hold 31% of the market share. Other options include a cigar or hookah lounge, a dance club, a cafe-style lounge or a bar that doubles as a concert venue. It's easier to launch a tiny corner bar than it is a large dance club, but you stand to make more profit with a larger space that holds special events. Location. Location is an important factor in a lounge bar's success. In suburbs and cities, bars generally thrive in places with lots of foot traffic or good public transportation, since people can't consume alcohol and drive. This changes slightly if your bar becomes a concert venue. It's also important to consider the liquor laws of a location before you set up shop, because it might just bankrupt you before you get off the ground. For example, some parts of New Jersey offer only a limited number of liquor licenses per county, so you may not even be able to successfully open a lounge that sells alcohol in some areas. Create your budget. The first order of business on your opening a bar checklist should be creating a solid business plan with a detailed estimated budget. This business plan will help you when you approach a bank for a loan. Unless you're independently wealthy, you'll probably need to get a business loan, because starting a lounge or opening a bar is really expensive. The cost of opening a lounge bar varies based on the business model. It is possible to take over an already existing business for as little as $25,000, but starting from scratch will cost you. Are you opening a large, multi-level dance club? Do you plan to invest in a tiny neighbor joint instead? Even your run-of-the-mill sports bar, with limited menu options and a few TVs, can get really pricey. Ultimately, it can cost anywhere between $110,000 to $550,000 to start a lounge bar that leases its location. If you plan to buy a place and pay a mortgage, the average startup costs increase to around $175,000 to $850,000. Work this into your business plan, and weigh it against your estimated profits, before you take it to the bank and start purchasing supplies. Liquor license. The second order of business on your opening a bar checklist should be obtaining a liquor license. Your lounge bar won't be very profitable if you can't sell alcohol, but liquor licensing is ultra tricky, and completely differs among states and counties. The type of license you need depends on what kind of alcohol you plan to sell, and is typically determined by your local Alcohol Beverage Control Board. A beer and wine license can cost as little as $3,000, while a full liquor license can cost between $12,000 and $400,000. More specifically, you'll probably want to go for a tavern license, because your business will probably profit more from alcohol than food. Music licensing. Music licensing is a tricky beast, but an eerily quiet lounge can turn off potential customers. Some hangouts, like the British chain Wetherspoons, do thrive with a no-music policy, but generally, you're going to want at least some background tunes. In order to legally play music, you have to get a license from a performing rights organization, or risk a potential lawsuit. The three major performing rights organizations, BMI, ASCAP and SESIC, base the cost of a license on square footage and the number of speakers in your establishment. This typically costs between $250 to $500 for simple background music, i.e., no dancing. Yes, the footloose laws apply if you don't want a $750 to $30,000 fine. If you want to have live performers, a dance floor or charge a cover fee, the cost increases from there. If you don't want to purchase a full-on license from a performing rights organization, you might be able to avoid it with a business subscription to a streaming service, like Spotify, Pandora or SiriusXM. This is usually allowed as long as customers aren't specifically paying to hear the music, and you're not charging a cover. Additional licensing. Odds are you'll need more than just a liquor license and a music license to start a lounge bar. Every state is different, but you'll probably also need a sign permit, an illuminated sign permit, might also be required if you plan to advertise your bar with a sign that lights up. Even if you don't, you might want to consider it, because the busiest hours for a lounge bar are usually after dark. Your city or state's website should have an application and additional information. A food service license. If your lounge plans to serve food, it will have to be inspected by the health department to make sure it complies with restaurant food safety regulations. After you pass an inspection, you'll be able to obtain a food service license. You can apply for this through your local health department. The regulations are listed on the Food and Drug Administration website. A food handler's permit. Any employees who come in contact with food at your lounge will need a food handler's permit. They'll have to pass a short test. You can also apply for this online. A pool table license. This seems like a strange one, but some states and counties charge around $10 to $15 a year to allow a bar or lounge to have pool tables. A dumpster permit. This lets you have a state dumpster to dispose of food waste. Costs vary based on bar location, dumpster size and dumpster placement. A brewpub license. You'll need a specific license to brew your own beer. The next part of the video is not specific to a lounge bar business. Nevertheless, this knowledge is essential for success in the gas station business, as well as in any other business. Ignore it at your own peril. Operating a successful lounge bar business will depend on the following 4 conventions. 1. A practical plan, with a solid foundation. 2. Dedication, and willingness to sacrifice, to reach your goal. 3. Technical skills. 4. Basic knowledge of management, finance, record keeping and market analysis. As a new owner, you will need to master these skills and techniques if your business is to be successful. Finding a niche. Small businesses range in size from a manufacturer, with many employees, and millions of dollars in equipment, to the lone window washer, with a bucket and a sponge. Obviously, the knowledge and skills required for these two extremes are far apart, but for success they have one thing in common. Each has found a business niche, and is filling it. The most critical problems you will face, in your early planning, will be to find your niche, and determine the feasibility of your idea. Get into the right business at the right time, is very good advice, but following that advice may be difficult. Many entrepreneurs plunge into a business venture, so blinded by the dream, that they fail to thoroughly evaluate its potential. Is your business idea feasible? Before you invest time, effort, and money, the following exercise will help you separate sound ideas from those bearing a high potential for failure. Identify and briefly describe the business you plan to start. Identify the product or service you plan to sell. Answering yes to any of the following 3 questions means you are on the right track. A negative answer to all of them means the road ahead could be rough. 1. Does your product or service satisfy an unfilled need? 2. Will your product or service serve an existing market in which demand exceeds supply? 3. Will your product or service be competitive based on its quality, selection, price, or location? Market analysis. For a small business to be successful, the owner must know the market. To learn the market, you must analyze it, a process that takes time and effort. You don't have to be a trained statistician to analyze the marketplace, nor does the analysis have to be costly. Analyzing the market is a way to gather facts about potential customers, and to determine the demand for your product or service. The more information you gather, the greater your chances of capturing a segment of the market. Know the market before investing your time and money in any business venture. The following questions will help you collect the information necessary to analyze your market, and determine if your product or service will sell. This brief exercise will give you a good idea of the kind of market planning you need to do. An answer of no to any of the questions indicates a weakness in your plan, so do your research until you can answer each question with a yes. 1. Do you know who your customers will be? 2. Do you understand their needs and desires? 3. Do you know where they live? 4. Will you be offering the kind of products or services that they will buy? 5. Will your prices be competitive in quality and value? 6. Will your promotional program be effective? 7. Do you understand how your business compares with your competitors? 8. Will your business be conveniently located for the people you plan to serve? 9. Will there be adequate parking facilities for the people you plan to serve? Planning your startup. The following questions are grouped according to function. They are designed to help you prepare for opening day. Merchandise. Have you decided what items you will sell or produce, or what services you will provide? Have you made a merchandise plan, based upon estimated sales, to determine the amount of inventory you will need to control purchases? Have you found reliable suppliers, who will assist you in the startup? Have you compared the prices, quality, and credit terms, of suppliers? Business records. Are you prepared to maintain complete records, of sales, income and expenses, accounts payable, and receivables? Have you determined how to handle payroll records, tax reports, and payments? Do you know what financial reports should be prepared, and how to prepare them? Finances. A large number of small businesses fail each year. There are a number of reasons for these failures, but one of the main reasons is insufficient funds. Too many entrepreneurs try to start and operate a business without sufficient capital, money. To avoid this dilemma, you can review your situation by analyzing the following 3 questions. 1. How much money do you have? 2. How much money will you need to start your business? 3. How much money will you need to stay in business? In order to answer the second question, how much money will you need to start your business? You need to prepare an estimate of all your startup costs. Here is a list of items you may need to take into account. Note that this list is for a retail business. Items will vary for service, construction, manufacturing or online firms. Decorating and remodeling, fixtures and equipment, installing fixtures and equipment, services and supplies, beginning inventory cost, legal, professional fees, licenses and permits, telephone utility deposits, insurance, signs, advertising for opening, unanticipated expenses. Now, the answer to the third question, how much money will you need to stay in business? Must be divided into 2 parts, immediate costs, and future costs. From the moment the door to your new business opens, a certain amount of income may come in. However, this income should not be projected in your operating expenses. You will need enough money available to cover costs for at least the first 3 months of operation. The following list will help you project your operating expenses on a monthly basis. Typical expenses for 1 month may include your living costs, employee wages, rent, advertising, supplies, utilities, insurance, taxes, maintenance, delivery, transportation, miscellaneous. Now sum up the total estimated monthly expenses, and multiply it by 3. This is the amount of cash you will need to cover operating expenses for 3 months. Deposit this amount in a savings account before opening your business. Use it only for those purposes listed in the above list, because this money will ensure that you will be able to continue in business during the crucial early stages. By adding the total startup costs to the total expenses for 3 months, you can learn what the estimated costs will be to start and operate your business for 3 months. By subtracting the totals of the lists from the cash available, you can determine the amount of additional financing you may need, if any. Now you will need to estimate your operating expenses for the first year after startup. The first step in determining your annual expenses is to estimate your sales volume, month by month. Next, determine the cost of sales. You may want to use a spreadsheet to do this. After startup, the primary source of revenue in your business will be from sales, but your sales will vary from month to month because of seasonal patterns and other factors. It is important to determine if your monthly sales will produce enough income to pay each month's bills. An estimated cash flow projection will show if the monthly cash balance is going to be subject to such factors as the following: failure to recognize seasonal trends, excessive cash taken from the business for living expenses, too rapid expansion, and slow collection of accounts if credit is extended to customers. Conclusion: if you have carefully answered all the questions in this video, you have seriously thought about your goal. However, there may be some things you may feel you need to know more about. Owning and running a lounge bar business is a continuous learning process. Research your idea, and do as much as you can yourself, but don't hesitate to seek help from people who can tell you what you need to know. As we conclude this video, it's time you get your free lounge bar business plan gift. Go to the description below this video to get it now. It is completely free, no strings attached. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and hit the subscribe button for more videos like this.